up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, the two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Good to see everyone. Nice day this Thursday. Well, maybe it is by you. Maybe it's not even Thursday where you are watching this and you're watching this at a later date. Well, whatever. I hope you're having a great day. Now, thank you very much, my subscribers, new and old. Thank you very much for continuing to show your support to this channel and its endeavor to continue being ad-free and sponsor-free. That's right. That's the way the content is meant to be on YouTube, and we are happy to deliver that. Now, today, Thursday, we always do different things on Thursdays. As you've probably seen from the thumbnail, we're doing a how-to play. And this was a suggestion from a viewer. They wanted to see how to play Celtica. And I thought that was a pretty good request. So join me down the table, and we're going to learn how to play this game of Irish and Celtic history and mythology. Celtica. I'll see you down the table. An old Irish legend tells of the hero Cuchulainn, who gathered 10 brave men together to drive the enemy from their land in a great battle. After returning home, he gave each of his followers a magical amulet. Each amulet was silver. The 9 outer parts were identical, but the middle part of each was different, making it possible to distinguish one from the other. The amulets brought their owners and their offspring respect and wealth. When the Vikings conquered the land, they destroyed the amulets, scattering the parts of each throughout the land. The players take the roles of adventurers in 11th century Ireland, who seek to recover the parts of the amulets and put them back together. 5 druids have pledged to help you in your endeavor. The player who finds the parts and puts together the most amulets will win the game and become the new Celtic king. Alright, that's the gist of the game, and it comes complete with a game board, 5 druids, 60 druid cards, and these are broken up into 12 each for the 5 druid colors, 20 experience cards, again in the color of the druids, and a grand total of 10 amulets, and these amulets are broken up into 9 parts each. And as said, they're all identical, except each has a different center piece. The players move the druids by playing druid cards of the same color as the druid figures. The players try to visit as many cloisters, villages, and castles as possible in order to collect amulet parts stored there. Players lose amulet parts in the ruins to the Vikings. However, players collect valuable experience cards in the ruins, which they can use in an attempt to collect the amulets and win the game. At game end, the player who has collected the most complete amulets wins. Okay, there's what the game is about and how you're going to win this game. So let's go right to setup.
Sorry to disappoint you. Huh? You triggered my trap card!
So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to lay the board out. You're going to have it in the center of the table. Easy access to all of your players. To go over the board quickly, there are 19 places, locations on this map that are all linked together by paths. Now, of these locations, there are only 3 different types of sites. You have the cult sites, the amulet sites, and the ruins. Now, the cult sites, you're going to be able to grab an additional druid card, and that's going to be very handy in your movement and ultimate discovery of the amulet parts. Now, there are also amulet sites. These are castles, cloisters, and villages. And here you're going to be able to find parts of the missing broken amulets. And the final type of places that you're going to be running into, or trying not to, are the ruins. And the ruins, well, when you go there, you run into Vikings pillaging. And you're going to have to give up an amulet part in order to get past them, if you have an amulet part. But, however, you will gain an experience card. And they're quite helpful in getting you around and finding things. Now, you're going to be placing all 5 of the Druid meeples. The Dreeples? Doesn't say that in the rules. But you're going to put all 5 of the Druid meeples onto the game board at the starting spot, which is located all the way down in the lower left hand of the board. Now, it doesn't matter how many players are sitting in on the game. This is important. It doesn't matter how many players are sitting in on the game, because you are going to use all 5 during the course of the game. No one player is a specific druid. You're not a specific color coded to the game. You know, like some games you choose the red piece or the blue piece. In this, no, you are in control of any and all of the druids that you want. So they're all going to be set up to start at the starting spot. Now you're going to shuffle up the druid cards, shuffle them up as well as you can, and then each player is going to draw 5 druid cards for the first round. And keep these secret. Don't let the other players see what cards you have. Next, you're going to shuffle the experience cards. You're going to shuffle these up as well as you can, and then you're going to leave them face down somewhere near the board. Easy access to the players. Now, the amulet parts you're going to put on the table, and you're face down, and you're going to shuffle them all up, mix them up. You know, you're not really shuffling chits, tokens. They're not really shuffleable. And then you're going to take them all, they're still face down, and just stack them up in 3, 4, 5 stacks. It doesn't matter how many. Just stack them up face down so nobody knows which chit is which piece of the amulet. Each player is going to take 2 amulet parts from the stacks that are face down, and they're going to place them face up in their play area in front of them. Then you're going to take 9 randomly chosen of these amulet parts, and you're going to place them up at the top of the board, up in the amulet sections, and you're going to place 9 of them there, and you're going to fill up those spots. And these will be face up. And then setup is over, and you're ready to start playing the game. Now that you're ready to start playing the game, the starting player, and how you determine that is up to you. The starting player is going to move, and each player after the starting player will also move. Now, in order to move, you are going to have to play cards from your hand, the 5 cards that you were just dealt, and the color of the card that you play will move the appropriately colored druid meeple piece 1 space. Now, during your turn, you can play any number of light-colored cards from your hand in order to move one of the druid meeples multiple spaces, or multiple druid pieces can be moved during your turn this way. You don't have to use all of the cards in your hand right away either. You could just play 1 or 2 and hold on to the rest. Now, any space that the druid ends his movement on, he must take the action of that space. Now, remember that spaces that the druids move through, they play no role whatsoever in the druid's travel, and you do not have to use their encounters. But if you end your movement, you have to deal with the encounter there. Now, as you move, the different areas will have different effects. So when you get to an amulet site, such as the cloisters, castle, or village, there will be an amulet icon, 1 or more. And the number of icons that are there, that's the number of pieces of the amulet that you are going to acquire for stopping there. Now, let's say you get an amulet piece that you already have. Well, that's okay. You're just going to start another amulet with that piece. Remember, the more completed amulets you have at the end of the game is going to determine the winner. Now, these will be taken from the supply at the top. You are not taking them directly from the stacks. You will take one or more, as indicated by the site. You will take them from the top row. Now, when you take a piece of your amulet from the top row, leaving an empty space, you will fill that space with one of the pieces drawn randomly from the face-down stacks. Now, when a druid stops at a ruin, there will be a number of icons there as well. And the number of icons for the amulet are how many amulet pieces you have to give up. Now, if you don't have that many, you have to give up as many as you have. Now, when you do give them up, though, and you lose them, you are gaining experience from the encounter and therefore able to draw an experience card. Now, at the ruins, when you discard one of your amulet pieces, that is not going back to the row, and it is not going back to the face-down stacks that you have set aside. It is going off to the other side of the board, and it is being kept separate. Now, at the third type of site, the cult site, when you stop your movement here, you can draw one druid card from the supply. However, there's a caveat to this, that the card that you draw for stopping at the cult site must be played in your next turn. Now remember, you can play multiple cards, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the first card that you play, but you have to play it before your next turn is over. Now, just to explain the experience cards a little bit that you're going to be getting during the game, these cards can be used starting the turn after you get them. But you can only play one of these cards. These cards are played like movement cards, like anything else. But in order to play these extra experience cards, you have to have at least one druid card, and it doesn't matter what color, as long as you have one druid card left in your hand. And if you have at least one, then you can also opt to play an experience card. Now, when the experience cards are used this way, they'll be discarded and left in a separate stack for experience cards. Now, besides using them for movement, you can also use them at the end of the game. By holding on to the experience cards to the end of the game, you're left with two options. One, you can use one experience card to trade any amulet part in your play area for another from the amulet supply space. Now, if you use two experience cards, then you get to take one amulet part from the amulet supply spaces. Then, when all players have played all of their druid cards during their turns, the round is over. At the end of the round, if no druid has reached the goal of completing amulets or reaching the end of the path, then you're going to continue with another round. New rounds will always begin with the player to the left of the player who played the last druid card in the previous round. Now, to end the game, when the first player reaches the castle at the end, the goal, that signifies that all other players have one round left to finish the game. The players continue to play druid cards, moving the other druids. You cannot move any druid that is already at the end goal. You can continue to collect amulet parts, you can continue to lose them, you can continue to gain experience cards. When a player plays a druid or experience card and moves the druid to the goal, he discards the card, but takes no further action for the turn. Now, when all players have played all their druid cards, then the game ends. The game will also end immediately when all 5 druids reach the goal, or when there are no more amulet parts in the supply spaces and the supply stacks are empty. In each of these cases, the players discard any remaining druid cards in their hand. The player that has the most completed amulets will be the winner of Celtica. If players tie with the most completed amulets, the player among them with the largest incomplete amulet is the winner. If there is still a tie, the player among them with the second largest incomplete amulet is the winner, and so on, and so on. And there you have it. There is how to play Celtica by Ravensburger.